This is what I wanted to talk about, and this is Wandance. This is what I've been waiting to make a video on, and that's because it's a great manga, and I think you should read it. Why? This is Kobuku, and basically he is one of the straightforward, simple-minded high school kids, but he does have a problem that I think most of us do struggle with, which is social anxiety. Am I right? Anyway, he does have a problem with social anxiety, which makes it hard enough for him to speak, but on top of that, he does actually have a stuttering issue, which can be kind of rough. When you have something that's holding you back and you're not completely sure if you're going to be looked in the eyes of society like a normal person, something as simple as stuttering can be very damaging to your mental. So what is this manga about? And why is that important? Basically, this is a coming of age of a boy who has seemed to have lost himself, but then also finds himself. He does it in a way that I think is really sweet, really enjoyable, and overall just passionate. Someone who seems to have nothing going for him, but also does at the same time, and he just doesn't know it. He has this thing where he thinks he has zero ability in what is basically comes down to is confidence. He has zero confidence. Personally, I do know what it's like to have zero confidence, so I can somewhat relate. This kind of struck a chord with me, just because I am also a heavy person when it comes to what he gets interested in, and that would be dance. Dance is something that everyone can relate to when it comes to just flicking a wrist, moving an arm, or busting a real fucking move on the ground and spinning on your head, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same stuff. We groove to music or the beat in your head, and that's what makes it fun. So, what is dance have to do with this? Well, our little shy boy, who is actually fairly athletic, I must say, actually ends up loving dance when he sees a girl off in his peripheral dancing, doing her thing. She's actually going to be applying for the dance club. He ends up getting so motivated that he also wants to dance. He realizes that that's what he wants to do. He drops pretty much everything at the drop of a dime, still thinking about it and a bit self-conscious because he has friends that don't support him necessarily or understand how important it would be for him, and still does it anyway. I think he's a very strong, wonderful, like-minded individual that I can relate to, and it's sweet. Basically, he's a bit of a goofball, and that's what I like about it. So just to preface, this is a feel-good story at heart, and I think that's kind of what I like about it, is it's something different and something completely relatable, like I've been saying this whole time, and because it's just down to earth. This guy is in a place in which he wants to see himself grow. I know it's getting a little bit sappy here, but is totally admirable, and that's why I like it. It made me feel like I want to strive to do better, personally, just by reading it. One, the story, which I've kind of already explained. Basically, the action in which that he takes to get better at dance is something of which I wish would happen more in things like shonen. They take their time, develop their powers. Maybe at first that's what they do, but they never stick to it, and I don't know why, because that's what made the damn story so good in the first place sometimes. I'm not asking every shonen to be a Hunter x Hunter and flesh out everything with a master plan in mind, but it is nice whenever they just simply progress. They are a human. They have character development, and that's what I was looking for. Our boy here has plenty of it. He has great character development. He starts to strive forward in speaking with other friends of the club, as well as, you know, going through emotions he's never gone through because he's never been put in that situation, which is also really interesting. Dive into the art. I thought the art was absolutely wonderful, and I can feel the beat sometimes. They do this really cool thing where they tell you what song is playing sometimes, and it's actually made me look up the song, and it will go with the panel movement, and the dances alone are enough to hypnotize me, let alone when I look up the song and listen to it, I can follow along on each panel that will sometimes go for 4 or 8 pages of just dance moves and breaking it down with very little speech, which I absolutely love. It's basically, like I said, sports manga, but this is dance. They have different music genres as well as different moves and make it easy for beginners to even know what is going on, which is, you know, kind of the point. He's a beginner himself, so you look at him as you, like, you can almost do it. It's actually kind of crazy when you think about it. Besides the art, I think that the overall music is a wonderful choice because I've looked up the songs they dance to and it's very interactive. I haven't had something like that in a very long time, which I can really admire. Something that makes you interact while turning the pages and throwing on a pair of headphones, and then just a quick Google search of the song to listen to alongside while you're flipping through the panels is kind of nice. It got really vibey at points, and sometimes it was a little overwhelming to just realize that I was making up my own anime flipping through pages. Kind of sweet. Anyway, it gets to a point where, you know, there's different music, different moves, and overall, the art is fantastic. The storytelling is great, and I can just recommend it. Now, there are, I think, probably a few downsides. So I would say, as well as it is a good thing, the bad thing is sometimes it's hard to follow along the panels. They get a bit experimental with the panel structure and trying to follow along with the dance moves. Personally, I would get lost sometimes. That's why I actually started looking up the music to kind of get a rhythm of what's going on, as well as whenever you're going through the panels, when you flip a page, you get lost on like the first volume a bit, just because it seems like they wanted to really exaggerate everything, which is fine. But when it comes down to it, it needed to be dialed back a little bit. Overall, it's a bit of a nitpick, and you get over it after like the second volume because you kind of understand what's going on when it breaks down and also the dialogue. Sometimes I wish there was a little bit more. I do like it because it's still simple and it doesn't over explain itself. It lets the pages do a lot of the talking, but like I said, sometimes when you get lost and you don't have any words, that's where it gets a little confusing, just mostly in the dance scenes. It's one of the best and low-key worst things about it. It's still kind of a nitpick. Overall, really enjoyable, like I said. So if you're looking for something fresh that you just want to get into that has a happy, upstanding feel, but nothing too like slice of life boring, I can recommend this because he still does things like competitions and obviously dance battles, which I didn't think it would be as interesting, and I thought it would be way more cringy, but overall, really damn wonderful. So I think they did a pretty good job on this, and if you want to know more, let me know. This was just a quick little review of Wandance, and thank you for watching. So, of course, if you're part of the VIP Manga Club, drop a like, drop the comment, and let me know if you want to watch anything else, or you want a review of anything else. So yeah, basically, that's it. Wandance. If you're interested, pick them up. I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.